Welcome and welcome back to the Creative Saints podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Josh.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
All right.
We kind of haven't talked today.
We haven't.
Okay.
I'm glad that we could schedule our FaceTime here.
Our weekly sit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We talk more than that.
It's been a crazy day. It's the middle of the week. We're recording later than we usually do, but that's okay.
Because there's been some good stuff happening.
Yeah, and there's just been some flux in our schedule, so we're having to kind of restructure what our days look like. And
welcome to life as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, we're just rolling with the punches. So
rolling with the homies.
Hopefully I can edit this before it's supposed to be out. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get to the place where we have them stacked up and scheduled and all the things. But right now, you guys, as our audience, are getting real time,
authentic life.
We're not a week behind. If we were talking about the news, we'd be right on top of it. But
not going there, not going there.
2 weeks in a row. Let's not talk about politics. All right. So we are 4 months into this podcast.
Dang.
And it's been so fun. It's been interesting. I think it's been revealing even for us to sit here and have to actually talk about and dig into topics and conversations that maybe we just assume the other one feels a way about. And we've actually had to sit down and really explore what we're doing and why we're doing it and who all of this is for. Mm-hmm. And because we're 4 months in, we have been telling people about it. I think we've been a little bit more bold in saying hey, we have a podcast.
Mm-hmm. But we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere, yeah.
I want to throw this out there. I've had 4 conversations in the last week where people have asked me questions and I'm like, this is a shameless plug, but we did a whole episode on this. You really should go listen to it.
I don't mind.
I feel like that's you're confident in what you're putting out now. Hey, we can talk about this, but we don't really have the time. You should go check out the podcast.
Right. And that's the whole point, right? Is the whole point of this is the conversations that we're having with people on the other side of these microphones. That's what we want to talk about. And it's real client interactions. It's real creative interactions. It's real life people interactions. And I think the highest compliment that we've had so far about the podcast was someone saying that they felt like they were just drinking coffee and talking about stuff with us. And I could not be more honored that that is how someone would feel, because
that's what we want.
This is how we talk in real life, and these are the things we talk about. So,
but those things and that, and the people who I am directing to the podcast, that makes this feel like it has purpose.
Yeah,
and it's not just a husband and wife just on here talking about what we like to talk about. It's actually full of purpose, and there is something to help people with.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you want to sit across the table from us and have coffee, text us.
Yeah, we really
do
prefer doing that. So I think that with us finally having this boldness to say this is what we do, it's a part of what we do, and we're podcasters and whatever.
Wait, can we get tattoos now?
Of what?
The Creative Saints.
You just want to write that on your arm?
No.
I think you just want any excuse to get a new tattoo.
Any excuse to get a new tattoo.
Okay, you can get the tattoo because it's official. But with that and us being more promoting, I guess, of it, okay, I guess we can tell people. There have been a lot of questions recently about what was your podcast about?
Yeah.
And so we've had to really dive into what is our podcast about? Is it still what we set out for it to be? I think the answer is yes, that we have stayed pretty true to what we want this to be.
I think it's a resounding yes.
Yeah, we've really tried to take our interactions, our work, our experiences throughout our weeks and turn them into episode content, because those are the things we want to be talking about.
Yeah.
So today we're just going to kind of talk again about what this is. The audience is growing a little bit. It's not where I'd like it to be, but I'm terrible at social media, so it's probably my fault. And I don't think people are really going back and listening to like the beginning of it
Yeah.
all. So we just kind of wanted to talk about what we're doing, why we're doing it, what is this podcast, who is it for, and do you belong here? And you do. You should listen and share it with all your friends.
I think that everybody belongs here, but it
Yeah.
definitely does target a specific group of people. But
Yeah.
I think anybody and everybody could get something from conversation.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. When you first thought of the phrase creative saint, let's kind of go back to this because it wasn't this.
No.
It was, what was it to you when you first made it?
Man, it's been 5 years ago, 4 years ago? Is that
Yeah.
what we determined? It was very like grungy, like against the grain. Probably not as probably the antithesis of what I just said, that I think anybody and everybody could get something.
Yeah.
It was like this like special society of cool creatives doing
Yeah.
different things. I think that was the heart behind it.
Right.
Not to leave anybody out, but just thinking about being in that phase of my design career and like that headspace. It's definitely evolved to kind of a everybody's welcome
Right.
from this isn't like some secret club. When I think that's the difference of what I tried to do 4 years ago versus this is a podcast on a global level.
Yeah. I think there was some exclusivity you wanted it to
Yeah.
have at the beginning. Again, at the time, it was just a logo. That's all that it was. It was just something in your spare time that
Yeah.
you created, you know. The colors were different. We
colors
actually
were
tweaked
terrible.
those right before we launched this podcast. But it was the same Saint logo. I think the font has changed and things like that.
Yes,
So it's all
definitely.
been tweaked. But it was, you know, you thought you were going to make a little club. And I'm glad that it didn't turn out to be that way because, you know, the timing, right? We can talk about timing.
Right.
But it's exactly what it is. It just wasn't the right time. And now it's totally different from what you set out for it to be.
Totally different, and now is the right time.
Yeah.
And I love how inclusive it is and how I'm not really looking to get anything from this, which I think is a big difference from where it was. I want to give any knowledge or experiences that we have had and put those out there for other people to take as caution or as guiding points, as reference to, oh, you know what? I heard someone talk about that once. I'm
Yeah.
going to take a different route in this conversation and hope that that works out better for them.
Yeah. What do you think shifted?
Oh, what shifted?
Yeah. What made this the right time?
God. It's such a
vague.
it's such a vague answer, but I think my heart posture is different. My love for people is different.
Yeah.
My intentions are different. I feel confident in who I am and my professional skills and business skills that I want to share that. And before I wanted to make it some secret club, and
Yeah.
it really makes me sound like such a jerk, but I wanted to create this like secret society or whatever, this underground thing. And now I'm like, don't make the same stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Like here's some, so I think it's the heart posture is
Yeah.
really the biggest thing that shifted.
Yeah. I think also, I mean, that would have been all you at the time.
Right.
Like, I really had nothing to do with that at all. And
You weren't part of my secret club.
I was not. And I didn't want to be, I'm sure. But now for us to be able to do this together,
Yeah.
and I think that our reach is a little more broad because it's both of us, and the way that we process things is very different. The way that we look at things is opposite sometimes. And so it really creates a good conversation around all of these processes and how we do client interactions and things like that. So I think the fact that it's both of us now is also very different from what it was initially going to be. And I think it's better. I mean, not to say that it's better because of me, but you know, it's
Everything's better with you.
So dumb. I think another big thing that really shifted for us being able to really like open up and start talking about these things is when we personally started living this life, right? Where we were going, our hands are open God, everything that you give me, I'm giving it back to you. Our hands are open with whatever you want to bless us with, or whatever this business looks like, or whatever our friendships look like, or all of it. And we were going, let it just honor you, let it bring glory to you. Whereas I think we had we had for sure been in such a hustle state
Yeah.
constantly that there was no time, first of all, to sit down and talk about these things. But again, I think going back to the heart posture of it, like we were in it for the money and the clout
Yeah.
and the
Oh,
like, we got to
yeah.
grow our business. We have to, and again, like, this isn't a huge podcast, right? And so
No.
if I didn't care about it so much and my heart posture wasn't right, we probably would have stopped already, because it's not gaining the traction that would be
Monetarily
like
prosperous.
Or like success would be measured by growth and analytics and all of that. But I do believe that the people that are listening are the ones meant to be listening.
Yeah.
And the people that are coming up to us and saying, hey, I heard that, or hey, I found that really interesting. I am thankful, and I know that if it's just for those few people,
Right.
then we're going to do this as long as we can do this, or
And
as long
that's
as we're
enough.
supposed to. Yeah, it is enough. And previously I would have probably given up already, just because been like, okay, well, maybe this isn't the thing. It's not growing.
When you're in hustle mode,
Yeah.
if it's not producing, let's just be honest, if it's not producing money right away in hustle mode, then you throw it by the wayside and you don't nurture and grow things. Do you remember, I think the big shift was we were driving and I said, Creative Saints is everything. That has to be our primary focus. And at the time, that didn't make sense, because I think we had maybe 2 episodes out.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a stupid statement to make, but I felt like, believe in this and grow this and keep doing this.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it. And that mentality right there is hard to stay in when work needs to be done that pays the bills.
Yeah.
So for this to be everything, but now I see that this is everything because our heart posture is different. I'm like confirming what I said a few minutes ago. Our heart posture is different. The way we're going about this is different. And there are people this is impacting. So it is different. And even if it's only helping one person a week, it's worth it.
That's what it's here for. Yeah. I think that we are kind of filling this niche place of incredibly ministry minded people that aren't running a ministry.
Right.
Right? Like, we are running a business first. And I think everything you do should have a ministry aspect. When you're a Christian, you're always thinking about other people and how it honors God. But like, we're not over here running nonprofits and ministries. This is just our business, and it's how we pay our bills. And so it's a very niche thing. And I think that there are a lot of podcasts that probably talk about either or. And I'm not sure how many there are that talk about both.
Yeah.
I'm a podcast listener and I don't know of one. So,
There was, I showed you that Twitter post a few days ago of somebody said, what are good Christian business podcasts?
Yeah.
And so many people said there aren't any.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Creative Saints podcast.
But I think that it's good. I think that going at business, talking about these things about, we're moving in faith here. We're doing something because God told us to do it. Whether or not it grows, and it's moving at God's pace, not the market speed. And you just have to be okay with that. Like, you just have to get to a place where you're like, all right, cool. I'm still going to share some posts here and there on Instagram. I'm still going to promote it like I should, or I'm sure I'm not promoting it as much as I should, but like, I'm still going to do the work. And it's just going to become whatever God wants it to become.
Yeah.
And if that's this and that's it, then that's enough. And we'll do it as long as he wants us to.
It's planting seeds. And this is not just the 43 minutes that you see. This is planning, discussing, preparing, recording, editing, creating all of the pieces. We're probably 4 or 5 hours a week to create one episode of a podcast.
It's pretty fun though. I think that now we're going into our weeks, like after we record this and it's up starting tomorrow, literally we're going to go okay, start looking for the next episode
Yep.
topic. And something will happen this week and we'll look at each other and we'll go, that's our episode.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not as planned as most people when it comes to their podcast, but it's been really cool for us to go, what's the thing this week, God? And then at some point he shows us. And
But I think that
it's
helps
very
keep
clear.
it raw and real and
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah. And this week, I think that we had decided to do kind of a deep dive into what it all is, just based on how many questions we'd been getting about what is it, and of course we're going, go listen to the first episode, you'll know what it is. But I think this is important too. It kind of helps us to have that conversation of, are we still doing this? Is it still the same thing 4 months in? So yeah, let's kind of define what is a creative saint. It's a bold name. It
is very bold.
We don't really, our specific faith walk doesn't really deal with saints, but I do think that is kind of cool and trendy and, that kind of stuff. But who are we actually trying to reach?
I think anybody who is creative. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't just come down to designers and engineers and musicians and painter. It doesn't come down to the tangible arts industries. Mm-hmm. Everybody is a creative in some aspect. There's the whole created to create, and God created us to create. It translates to, we all are creative in our industry, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Anywhere. A barista to a coffee time, always. A barista to a lawyer to a doctor. Everybody's creating in some form.
Yeah. And whatever you're doing it with God. Mm-hmm. You're not just doing it for people. You really see everything that you're doing as worship.
Yeah.
And I think those are the people that we want to talk to, we want to engage with, we want to frame our episodes for, that everything that you're doing is with that heart posture, right? Of, this is for the Lord. And it might not look like it's for the Lord. It might look like it's for people. It might just be, I might just be making coffee, or I might just be running spreadsheets all day, or I might just be whatever that is, but it's unto God.
Yeah. As we've developed this, though, over the last 4 months, I do think that my mindset has shifted a little bit from a saint being that specific Christian faith-filled person to maybe somebody isn't fully into faith being a driving aspect of their life, but they want to be a positive light to the world. They want to be, and saint kind of connects that of being a good-hearted person, wanting the best for people, wanting to give and be generous, those types of things. So I think it is accessible, and though we do talk about our faith, I think there's people who can take that and get some inspiration from that.
Yeah.
And maybe they get a little Jesus. Maybe they it's a positive recharge, and encouragement to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. I think people that are doing hard work, people that are creating things, and, for us, we really want to speak to the heart of people that are unsure of where they're supposed to go, because we've been there, that are not sure what move to make, not sure if this is the right industry for them, or I've never had to deal with clients. We kind of want to dig into those nitty gritty details of what this all looks like. So yeah, if you're listening, we're glad that you're here.
Very thankful that you're here. And go back and listen to some of the previous episodes and let us know what you've gotten from that.
I think one thing that has really been resounding for us lately, and again, it just speaks to the heart of this, is let everything that we do be worship. And I even made the background on my phone. I just felt like God was like, may it all be worship. May everything that I do be worship. And the easy stuff, the hard stuff, the creative stuff, the busy work, obviously raising our kids and our marriage and all of those things. But in the work aspect of it, I want it all to be worship. And if it's not that, and if I'm not leading and growing and working from that place, then I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. And that's been where I'm at. I think I could say that's where we're at, and we don't want to step into anything that isn't where he wants us,
right,
and what he wants us to be doing. So while I do hope that people listening, maybe not everyone is a Christian, but like I want everyone to have purpose
Yeah.
in what they're doing. And for us, that's worship.
It is. And that comes down to tangible things of writing an email and having the right tone
Yep.
to maybe driving in the car and someone cuts you off and having the right response
Yeah.
to that situation,
Yeah.
which we all struggle with. So in it all being worship, what about like when there's a bad day, a client is completely difficult, when it's completely fair to not want to be happy and worshipful and joyful in that moment?
Yeah.
How do we address that in a way that is still glorifying to God and showing our character going forward?
Are you specifically asking that
I
question?
am specifically asking you.
I think that comes down to fruit, right?
Yeah.
And now we're going to get into the weeds of like the really Christian part of this. The really like faith part of this is leading from the heart posture of worship, or saying that this is all God's and I want to honor him, and all of those things. If there's no relationship, like you can't really worship without relationship.
Right.
You can't really bear fruit without relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that our responses are a direct reflection of the fruit of our relationship with God. It's kind of a cyclical thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, so if you're not interacting in a way with people that is a heart of worship to God, if you're not showing that, if you're not being that light, if you're not, then we need to reevaluate. And that's
Yeah.
what I was saying a minute ago, right? Like if it's harder, if the work is becoming harder, if there's not a place of peace in what you're doing, it feels like Sunday school but like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Self-control is probably the one that we have to deal with most as adults. But if those things are not present in your daily life, like, yeah, your worship, but like your communication with people, your interactions with people, the way that you respond when they don't deserve it, right? Like self-control, patience, joy, peace. Those are going to be the defining things of whether or not what you're doing is worship unto the Lord.
Yeah. When you made that background on your phone, so it was a constant reminder, it struck a chord with me of, I feel like I need that constant reminder in my face, because getting text messages when I've asked for emails or getting emails asking for information over again, it actually has caused me to pause and pause before I respond. And before I am irritated at that person, I've already stopped myself now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe a text message, the tone came across in a way that wasn't how they meant for it to come across. And maybe everything's chill and we're all good. But it's having that heart posture, because you can have that reaction when it's unnecessary. And I am so guilty of that regularly. And there's a lot of communication every day in multiple forms. And so we're human, that happens. But it's something that, since you actually wrote it down and had it clearly in your face all the time, it was in my face. And so if it's affecting me in that way, what other impact are we having on the people around us by just having that attitude? They don't have to see those words, but your actions, your interactions actually are louder than those words.
Yeah, you're completely right. And I think that's exactly why I wanted it in my face, was because I had to just have that constant reminder of, why am I doing what I'm doing? We actually recently had something happen where we left, and we left kind of like a situation, and we were like, okay, I need a whole day before I respond.
Yeah.
I need a whole day, because if I don't give myself that space to gather my thoughts, pray about it, respond, it doesn't even have to be like a bad thing. It can just be overwhelming or a lot, or you're unsure of what to do. I'm the type of person where I'm very quick. I'm kind of like checklist kind of person. So I like to have quick responses, and I like to check things off my list. Okay, I responded. But I do think lately I've tried to be a lot more mindful of I need to take a minute. I need to pray about it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to assess what my words actually
Yeah.
are going to be and that they are what God wants me to say
Mm-hmm.
in everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, having that reminder, that phrase is constantly floating around my head now. May it all be worship. Like having that constantly in my head really helps me reframe my thoughts and my actions when things are easy and when they're not,
Yeah.
you know?
That's so good. But to keep in mind to have at the forefront
Mm-hmm.
of our mind and going forward and being not leaders per se in any like official capacity, but leaders of this type of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
this mentality, this changing things. Just having that, I think, opens doors for greater audience, greater groups of listeners, and not
Mm-hmm.
with a podcast, but if the things that we're saying and we are making sure that they are worship, that they are in tune with what we're supposed to be doing, then they have a greater impact. And we don't have to post on social media
Yeah.
to get new followers and get
Right.
the impact is going to happen. The audience is going to happen at the right time. The listeners will happen at the right time. And I think we're seeing that.
Yeah.
And it's just a be committed to this mindset.
Yeah.
And that's probably been a month now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a shift in a lot of things. And it's really coming. There have been times where are we doing the right thing? Are we targeting the right people?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few conversations recently where people are, so what is your niche? Like, who are your niche people? And when I say it's a lot of churches and a lot of ministries, and that's where we're going, they're like, they don't have money. And it's always the churches don't have money.
No, they don't.
Which most of the time is true, but I think that there is a shift in like what God is doing, and churches are saying, we're going to set aside money because we're going to do this the way we need to do this.
I do think there's a stewardship mindset that is happening in the global church where I think in the past churches have been frivolous with their spending or just haven't been good stewards because I think they employ a lot of people that don't know what to do with money. I do think there's a shift happening globally, like for a lot of church. I say globally, but like Big C church
overall,
where people are really having to hone in on like, are we stewarding what God has given us well? And so it is shifting. And I mean, as people who work with churches, we are noticing it because people are more willing to spend money on quality versus,
But with the economy and the market, people are seeing we need to be very, very strategic in what we're doing. And creative saints are strategic people. You are not just a painter dropping some paint and going. There's purpose and there's strategy and there's planning and process behind making a logo or making a piece, whatever it is, putting a plan in place. There's so much strategy that goes into that. And I'm going to say this, it is so mentally exhausting that it's more mentally exhausting than working a 12-hour day doing this type of work. And that's how you know, man, I'm in the pocket. This is the right thing. Even if it doesn't make any sense from a human perspective, I want to do more and I get excited to do more.
Yeah. So if you are a kingdom-minded entrepreneur or someone just wondering how do I honor God in my workplace, maybe you're burned out with what you're currently doing and you need some permission to like think, right? Take a minute, think about what you're doing, reassess, rest. Yeah, find out what it is that God actually wants you to do. Or maybe you're just a super passionate creative and you want to be more spirit-led or you just want to connect with other creatives. I think you're a creative saint. I think this is for you and you're 100%. The person that we want to talk to. We want to meet. We want to all the things. I keep saying meet. I get that this is like it's a podcast. We're probably not going to meet most of the people that listen, but that's just my heart is just to like go meet everyone. And we did meetups. That was kind of a big thing at the beginning that we talked about, and something shifted that didn't feel quite like the right move. I think it will happen in time. We will get back to that, and we have some community building that we're doing in some other areas of our life right now. And so, but I do think Creative Saints is going to have its moment for that.
I think we're bridging
Yeah.
the gap of a lot of things, and they're going to take a minute to come
Yeah.
together.
We kind
It's
of led with it, and that's hard to do when you only have 3 listeners.
yeah,
So it's now that it's growing, I think that there will definitely come a time where we still meet up with
definitely.
people.
But we're not going to jump on doing something until
Yeah.
it feels like there's purpose or time or
Yeah.
like pathway to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were looking forward to that and we disappointed you, I am really sorry. You can tell us. But yeah, there has to be
People's lives are so busy though. It's really hard to
It was
find
hard to
a
do the
single
first
night.
one. Yeah.
I think we'll go more event based, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think ultimately we want to exist in this space and for the purpose of building things that last
Yeah.
eternally. It sounds kind of cheesy to say that, but
Yeah.
we're wanting to build up people's spirits, their souls. Their like
Yep.
this isn't just about creating cool stuff and making cool graphics and being trendy or anything like that. I really think the heart of this is touching people's lives,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're a designer and you're listening to the podcast, but like you're not meant to be a designer, we don't want to tell you that you should just keep designing and
Right.
find better clients and find better software. Like you need to be doing the thing that God wants you to do. And
if it's feeling hard,
Yeah.
ask God if you are supposed to be doing this or if there's a different thing, and ask Him to make that very clear to you that it's time for a change. That is so hard, and we walked through that recently.
Yeah.
And when God says it's time for a change, it's probably going to be one of the hardest things you ever do. But my God, be obedient because we want to encourage people to go at things. I just said this with a potential client this morning. I can create a logo for you, but we want to create a brand. And I said, that brand may need to change in 10 years, but we want the impact that your organization and that logo, that visual voice has on your community that impacts generations and salvation is found. So that's specifically with a church, but creating things that have an impact, and maybe the design or the piece of music or whatever doesn't have the impact, but your interaction with that person, that might be the may it all be worship piece that God uses to bring them to salvation or to make an impact on them or their family.
And I think initially that exactly what you're saying right there is the reason that at the beginning we actually called this a collective.
Yeah.
We recently changed it and it's just become the Creative Saints podcast because that is where the focus of it is going. But ultimately, I mean, the collective idea was just the creating community part of it, where we're impacting people, not just creating cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'm part of something.
Yeah, I'm part of something. And on the flip side of like maybe you're supposed to make a change, the other part of our story is keep going, right? If you know that you know that you know that you're exactly where God wants you and you're a designer and you're working in a creative industry and whatever that looks like, the other side of that is we really want to encourage you guys to stick with it.
Keep going.
Even when it's hard, because obedience is better. Like everybody always says obedience is better than sacrifice. I think it's a scripture, but like obedience is just better.
It is.
Period. Like, and you will see more fruit from obedience. Growing fruit is hard.
Growing fruit is so hard.
Okay, like let's just make that very, very clear.
Wait, so is growing babies hard or harder, or like being pregnant?
Oh, wow.
Or doing this,
I'd
growing
rather have
a business.
a million more kids than have to prune and grow more fruit in my life spiritually.
Maybe I came at that the wrong way,
like, what
the
are
wrong
you
wording.
Talking about?
But that's what I'm saying.
Truly,
is
yeah. It's emotionally taxing. It can be physically taxing.
Yeah.
I know people that have given themselves strokes because I'm not saying that God is requiring that of you, but like it can be hard and you have to stay in this place of peace mentally when you're going through these seasons of growth and change and just constant like
when human nature tries to take over and you like just want to go with your natural instincts. And that's where I was going with praying about things, asking God for direction. And If he doesn't say change, keep going. If he doesn't say anything, keep going, but keep praying at the same time. So keep going, don't stop.
Yeah.
But keep praying, keep asking, is this where I'm supposed to be? Am I still on the right path? And that's something that we do daily.
Yeah.
Maybe multiple times a day. God, we sure?
Are you sure?
Check. Is this mic on? You may need to adjust how you do it. Like you were saying, if you need a season of rest, if you need to change your schedule, if you need to go so that you can still live in a place of peace, you can still live with purpose. And if you can't have kind interactions and peaceful interactions with people because you're so stressed out, then you need to take a step back and reevaluate so that you can get back to that place of peace, that you can live in that place of may it all be worship and accountability, mentors. Those are all really important pieces of checking in to say, hey, here's where I'm at. Can I just talk this out with you?
Yeah.
Find people that you can do that with, because community is so important.
Yeah. And I think that's why we even encourage people to like DM us, comment. It's not just because we want the clicks and the engagement, but honestly, we want to talk this out with people.
We care.
We really, really care. And talking this out with people, walking this out with people is what we're most passionate about. It's the reason this exists. It's the reason we come on and talk about this stuff every week. If we felt like we could accomplish this just by going and having gatherings and doing coffee, we would do it that way instead. I do feel like the podcast is going to reach more people in that way.
Yeah.
And so it's the reason we're doing it this way. But honestly, please reach out to us. If you have our number, text us. If you can get on Spotify or YouTube or Instagram, like DM, message us. We want to talk this stuff out. Let us know where you are and like what stage of this journey you're on, because at this point we've probably been there. And
probably.
At the least we can pray for you. You know,
absolutely. We aren't
gurus. That's not what we want this to be.
We're not physically meeting in person, but we are building a community, a group of people that if you reach out, we may have somebody that we can connect you with that is close to you or is in your industry, or we do have a pretty big network of people across the United States that we might be able to connect you with. A church, a business, a specific type of creative, a specific type of person. We may have that. And there's something that I think we really took maybe 3 or 4 years ago of, if you never ask or you never tell people what you do, they're never going to know. Yeah.
And I think that another thing as far as like reaching out to us goes is we really would love to share your stories. Our experience is not the be all end all, and our experience has been hard, and we haven't always done it the right way. And I know
We've
that
done a lot of wrong things.
And we keep going. Like we don't come from a long line of entrepreneurial people in our family, and we have just tried to do the best with the knowledge that we have, and we've made some mistakes along the way. And that's okay.
Like, just some, not all of them.
But there are people out there who have done it better, or had a better clear path, or had a mentor telling them what to do, and they didn't make the mistakes that we made. And I'm not saying we've done anything wrong. Every step we've made has made us who we are, but we've even said in some of the episodes, like, don't do what we did. Like, don't start your business the way that we did. The way we started our business is a cautionary tale, truly. And so I really want to hear people's stories. I would love to have people on that are willing to tell their stories, or have some advice to give other people. And I think that's where, again, you know, the collective part of it was born. If you noticed that we changed it, this is why. It's still a collective. It's still what we want it to be, but we're doing it through the podcast solely now.
Maybe collective, taking that away makes it a little more accessible. I think I kind of,
because then you don't have to feel that you have to be in person.
It's like, well, if I just want to come and go for a little bit, I want to test the waters. I can do that. So we've changed the name a little bit. We've kind of redirected it. May it all be worship is kind of the guiding post of life now. What are you looking for, hoping for? How do you feel like this next season going into that mindset 24/7
Yeah.
is what are you looking for in like that shift?
I think where I am personally in that is, I think what I really want out of it is to encourage people.
Yeah.
Um, there have been other seasons of life where I would have said, I want to be encouraged.
Right.
And thankfully, I do feel like at this point, and I don't know if it has to do with age or if it has to do with experience or what, but I feel like God is really asking me right now to just encourage people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as far as the podcast goes and like how I want this to go, that's what I want these conversations to be.
Yeah.
But again, like I would love to have some personal interactions with our listeners. And I mean, just as a, like, what do I really hope? Like, I hope to really meet some of the people listening and talk to the people listening and just be able to encourage people where they are. I think that's the space God has me in right now. I think it's the reason he gave me that phrase.
Yeah.
The reason it resonated with me so much is just my life currently is meant to be lived from a place of pouring out.
Yeah.
And so I want the podcast to also be a reflection of that. And
I love that.
Yeah, I just want people to feel like their dreams are possible. I want them to feel like if God has called them to something, they can accomplish it. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah. That's really sweet and good.
Thanks.
You really do. I have seen a shift in like your engagement with people and just really listening and pouring out to them constantly.
I wouldn't say I've always been that way. I do think that there was a time not that long ago where I really didn't have time for people's stuff. Like, and maybe because we were going through our own things, or maybe I just didn't have the capacity or like the empathy that I needed to have.
Yeah.
But maybe I didn't always deal with people in the most kind way. And maybe that's why I was never in like direct leadership with people face to face. But I don't know. I think that there's been something that God has placed on me where it's like I'm finding that I have more patience for people. I'm finding that I have more empathy for people. So yeah, I don't know. It sounds like I'm getting old though, if I'm being honest.
I think that it comes down to really, really finding that place of peace in life in general for us. And I feel like both of us have been able to hear from God more clearly because we have found a place of peace to live from. The fear of life is not just taking things constantly. And that's something that I would encourage you to message in and ask us to pray for. If you struggle with fear of anything, write in.
Yeah.
Send a message and we will
know
pray
how to
over
pray
it
for that.
because fear is a dirty, dirty, dark place and that just doesn't get to keep going. We will pray peace and joy over you.
Yeah, I love that. What about you? What is your goal for the next little bit of this podcast or where we are in life right now? What are you believing for in this next season of Creative Saints?
I feel like there's an audience every time that I'm in a conversation with someone. And I feel like I've been really in a place for the last year of practicing listening. And now I feel like it's time to be more vocal.
Yeah.
And part of that is this podcast has really broken me out of my shell of sharing because I felt like I'm not qualified.
Yeah, the first few episodes, I think I was surprised at how I felt like I needed to kind of pull you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
You're not usually closed off, but this was a learning curve for you for sure.
This was a stepping out of the box. This was not this was a thing that I had to pray fear over because or breaking fear over. Like, this was not natural for me. Being in front of a camera and voice recorded and all of that, not something I ever wanted to do, but I had a passion to do it because there was some type of purpose in it. But getting back to your question, I feel like now is the time to have conversations. And 6 months ago, the people I'm having conversations with, I would have felt like I was under them, less than, they were superior to me. And now I'm finding, as I've stepped into this place of authority, that I have things to share with people that really are life-changing. And that's not by me at all, but that was me laying my pride down, becoming completely humble. And now the skills and lessons and the trials and all the things that we've walked through, sharing those things with authority, knowing when to share what. It still is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When someone is 20 years older than me and they need to hear something, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I feel like this nudge of, you need to do that. You have to do that. I'm getting a little more comfortable with that, but I always want to be respectful. And I don't know, I'm 40 now. I guess I have to step into that and go. So I want to continue to be humble and do that with grace.
Yeah.
Which I don't always do. I don't always look like the most.
That's what I'm for.
I don't always look like the most approachable person, but I want to.
You just have to smile more.
Who wants to smile? I smile when I have coffee. But I just want to impart all the things that we've learned to people to live a more fulfilled life.
Yeah. I mean, I think we basically explained it. That's.
I think there's a pretty clear definition.
Yeah. I think it's shifted a little bit, but not much since we started.
More direct, maybe.
Yeah. I think we just have a very clear idea now of what this podcast is and who it's for. And it's for everyone. But, we're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about business. And we're not going to talk about them separately. We
did talk about making sure that we were balancing. This is full disclosure here. In the beginning, we were like, we can't do too much faith. We can't do, but it just goes together.
Yeah.
And there are people looking for this.
Yeah.
And this doesn't exist. People want raw.
Yeah.
And people want authentic in faith and business intersecting, and they can.
Do you know when the podcast started growing? I was looking at the analytics. When we finally decided it had to be both. And I think we were trying to segment it too much, that it had to be business. Don't be too Christianese with people. And we still try to explain things in a way that makes sense. I don't want to close anyone off. If you're exploring your faith for the first time and you found this podcast, I want it to be accessible for you, right? I want the language to make sense to you. But this is everything to us.
Yeah.
It's not one without the other. And I just realized that that's actually when we started seeing a little bit more numbers, of listeners, is when we actually committed to it's both and.
And it probably, I mean, to not be whatever, but it probably goes that way because it's how we live.
Yeah.
So when we try and segment,
authentic,
one piece of it, or I remember in the beginning, this is just kind of funny, where we started going down our notes and we said something, and we were like, that was way, way, way too much scripture.
Yes.
That was just too deep. That was too spiritual. And we cut it out because we're not preachers. We're not.
Right.
But I think this is what it's supposed to be. And we're being transparent and telling you guys, we cut stuff out and we tried to be a certain way. And you're just going to get authentic Josh and Victoria.
It also cuts down my editing time when we're not. When we're more authentic, I can leave the laughs in and all of that. So honestly, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming up to us in the real world and saying that you're listening. And that honestly means
the world
so much. Anytime someone does that, I am literally shocked. Anytime someone comments about something we talked about in the podcast, I'm floored that they listened. So thank you so much. We hope that this brings you joy. And that even if you don't care about what we're talking about, we hope you enjoy talking
Maybe you get
with
a laugh.
us, listening to us. And we want you to stick around for all the many evolutions of the Creative Saints podcast.
Evolutions.
Oh, gosh. somebody will tell me I'm not spiritual because I said evolution.
You said the wrong Christianese word.
That is not Christianese. That is Darwinism.
Darwin. We're not talking about Darwinism on this podcast. No upside down fish. Have an amazing week.
Oh my gosh. Bye, guys.